Welcome to the channel TechBase. You can get global latest technological news in daily video. Please subscribe this channel. In 2022, the United States promulgated the CHIP Act, and then the US government allocated more than $50 billion to subsidize the development of the chip industry. This approach of the United States is undoubtedly to improve its own scientific research technology and the development and manufacture of chips. After the United States promulgated this bill, major companies also made choices, and this move by the United States has largely restricted the development of Chinese chip companies. Everyone knows that the United States has always wanted to realize its position as a global technological hegemony, and has always pursued a policy of freedom of choice economically. And the United States rarely adopts policies to support industries. None of the technology companies in the United States are famous for relying on the policy support of the United States. They all rely on their own efforts to gain a firm foothold in the world. Before 2022, the United States has said many times that it wants to allow companies in its own country to compete fairly, so they will not introduce policies to support certain industries, and other countries are helpless in the face of US sanctions. After the United States promulgated this bill, they spent a lot of money to support the chip industry. This move by the United States fully shows that there is a problem with its own chip industry. Most companies do not support the chip bill introduced by the United States. Many stocks in the United States showed a downward trend on the day the bill was promulgated. These declining companies are undoubtedly the leading companies in the US chip market. When this bill appears in everyone's field of vision, we will find that after the United States promulgated the chip bill, it cannot save its own chip market. Although the US authorities saw problems in the chip market, they did not prescribe the right medicine. Although the United States has invested a lot of money in supporting the chip industry, it is not a question of capital to make the US chip industry develop again, but a problem of labor. The existing labor force in the United States cannot match the needs of the industry. In recent years, the United States has continued to decline in the chip industry, and they have set their sights on other countries. And their approach is undoubtedly to establish their own industrial chains in other countries, and gradually the chip industry is no longer synonymous with high-end. When many Americans choose their majors, they will prefer finance instead of choosing majors closely related to the chip field. In fact, if the chip industry wants to develop, it must undoubtedly have a perfect industrial chain. At this time, the United States not only lacks professional talents in chip research and development, but at this time, we will find that some chip industries cannot be linked with their own upstream and downstream manufacturers. And this also limits the development of the US chip industry to a large extent. The biggest problem in the US chip industry is the lack of talents, which makes many industries not want to cooperate with the United States, and even the US chip industry itself cannot be integrated with foreign countries. Although the US government's policies and support are very strong, it is difficult to find talents in the field of chip research in the US. At the same time, the United States has no labor force, so those chip companies will naturally not cooperate with the United States. Some international leading companies went to the United States to build factories under the pressure of the United States, but these companies faced a big problem after the completion of the factories. Although the factories were built, there were no employees. According to some data, we will find that it is very difficult to recruit technical talents in the United States. Although the United States has promulgated the chip bill, it is very difficult for the United States to have a large labor force. They will recruit some technical employees, and the work motivation of these people cannot meet the needs of chip manufacturing research and development. Another reason for the decline of the U.S. chip industry is that companies cannot retain talents. Many of the founders of these international companies worked in the United States, but later left the United States for various reasons. When these technology developers left the United States, the chip industry in the United States began to decline continuously. At this time, I believe that many people will have deep thoughts. In fact, behind this deep thought, these people just want to have a boss who can recognize their talents. The United States has allocated more than $50 billion to support the development of the chip industry, which is a very large expenditure for the U.S. fiscal expenditure. This huge expenditure is only a small part behind the chip research, but the United States has not discovered its own mistakes at this time. They even said, if they want to get subsidies, they cannot cooperate with China in the next 10 years. In this way, some chip industries were opposed to this after learning about it, because China, as a country with a large population in the world, has a huge market. If they accept subsidies from the United States, they will undoubtedly give up Chinese resources. This will not only worsen the relationship with China, but also add a bigger competitor to itself. At this time, the United States must understand, suppressing others is undoubtedly making others rise faster. In fact, the more times you are suppressed, the greater the rebound effect will be. This approach of the United States is undoubtedly bringing all its own development paths to an end. No matter what industry it is in, the United States is no longer the industry leader. While the United States is focusing on suppressing China's development, those Chinese scientific research teams are constantly developing and achieving effective results in the chip industry. Besides, in the Broad Chip Exploration Project, HiSilicon has brought Huawei patented technologies in optical computing chips, chip stacking, and superconducting quantum chips. HiSilicon has a team of 7,000 people. Even if the market changes, HiSilicon still maintains normal recruitment activities and project research. Some foreign media said that Huawei does not need MAXIC, because the chip stacking and superconducting quantum chips explored by Huawei are all cutting-edge chip fields for the future, and they do not need the technical support of the United States, and they can also implement related research results. Industrialization. Just like chip stacking, the concept is to stack and combine two chips with advanced packaging technology to form a brand new system on a chip. No need for traditional advanced process support, even two mature chips can double the energy efficiency after stacking and combining. When the advanced packaging industry matures in the future, I believe this part of the research will have practical application value and significance, and Huawei will also have the opportunity to use stacked chip products in equipment to improve its competitive advantage. Huawei hopes to release a Kirin chip with lower performance within a year, but the size of this phone is too big. Regarding Kirin's chip, maybe we expect too much, and we are more willing to believe that this revelation is true, and think that there will be good news.